An alien spaceship flew towards the Earth. It fiery when it falls into the atmosphere. The spaceship crashed into an empty lake. Two people came out of the wreckage of the spaceship. A teammate helped his friend out of the water. And when he fainted, then brief memories of the past appear. When you wake up, the astronaut realized that his comrade had died from a severe wound to the chest. Over there, he heard a robot calling from a computer trapped in the lake. The man picked up the machine and asks in a strange kind of language about the information of the planet he landed on. He also inquired about the location of the other spacecraft, but the computer said there were no records of nearby spacecraft. Feeling a little disappointed, the man prepares the computer to download and transfer him a series of data about the planet, civilization, languages, and cultures of species. This seems to cause his brain to suffer from overload when receiving a lot of information. Then, he regained his spirits and practiced aiming with a destructive gun that he carried with him as a defense. When night falls, he dug a grave for his fallen comrade. His task now is to survive in an unknown place to collect data. During the search, he found the whale's carcass next to a village that had been destroyed with signs of an attack by something non-human. Realizing that he was being watched, he fled, but was stopped by a knight who knocked him unconscious and dropped his weapon into the river. So he was captured and taken to a nearby Viking village surrounded by wooden walls. In the hall, the young girl Freya and her father, the ignorant patriarch, were fighting with swords. Freya told her father that she would not marry Gunfire. He proposed to the patriarch. The fight ends when Freya's father slashes her in the shoulder. Gunfire appears, but his arrogant attitude only made Freyr stay away from him even more. Holdout and Gunfs talked about a nearby village having been destroyed, and Gunfric said during the inspection they caught a man. But this person does not seem to belong to any village at all. The arrested person was brought before the villagers. They were surprised and mocked at his strange outfit. Gunfire takes the man to the hut for interrogation. What is the name of the stranger, he asks, and he responded by his name. Kimnon lied to them that she was from an island in the north and was hunting dragons, but these people did not believe her. He thought that he was the one who attacked that village. When he stopped trying to escape, he was immediately restrained by everyone. After being held back when lifting, tried to escape using a red-hot iron bar. But when he was about to succeed, the fraud appeared to take care of him. So I had to stop, pulled out, and asked the Gunfire about the King at Dusk, but the other golfer refused to cooperate. Ragal said, needing to find Gunnar. The leader of the village is destroyed and explains that they are not the ones who attacked him. Gunfire is hesitant because he has a feud with Garner when he killed his father. It was the former patriarch of the village. But the throttle explained this because his father was careless and he didn't want Goldrick to repeat the same thing. Back to Freya and Guinea. She asked, was he the one who attacked the village, which he denied. Before continuing, when he lifted, he escaped and attacked the FR along with another guard. Yang should have tried to escape during the night, and his plan might have worked, except that the alarm goes off announcing an enemy attack. All the borrowers prepared to act because they thought the gunner had come for revenge. They were surprised to see no one outside, and the enemy was inside the village. The enemy did not know where to start the slaughter. A tentacled creature lurking in a stable. When the background begins to chase the monster, the guards are also chasing him. The guard is then killed by the mysterious monster, and what does he bring to the wooden wall? When lifted, this creature is called Muin, the dragon he was really looking for. Before you go looking for it, the borrower saw when he lifted and tied him to a rock. At this time, Kimnon remembered the scene of her son quickly getting used to attacking his world. Slaughter his people. The next day, a boy handed him some bread. People in the village try to find out who may have caused the chaos last night. They give needles, don't come to YouTube K. Ask him about the dragon he was hunting. The background explains that the Muin also attacked his people. He seduces us with light and then kills our people. He also confessed that he himself brought the acquaintance to the village, but before Kim Hung was executed. The intervener said that he did not believe his story. He should have understood that they would be hunting for Muin, so he asked him to participate. The Viking gave him a horse, and Freyr gave him a punch to avenge the night. And then they leave the village in search of monsters. The blacksmith Palmyres gave him water to drink. So when she spit it out, Grodska strikes up a conversation with Keanu, and he told the patriarch that if they didn't stop Muin, the whole village would suffer the same fate as his hometown. Goflix announced that many bodies have been found in the area and proposed to set up expedition teams. But when you don't see this plan as feasible, think it's better to be together. Even so, chicken intestines still like to go in pairs. While investigating, a severed horse's head fell from above to the point of withdrawal and bomb. Another couple spotted burnt corpses outside the cave, and soon realized something was lurking. A terrifying scream was heard from the cave side. All gathered to go inside. They spotted a bear and began attacking it. Join forces together to take down the bear. In the fight, when he lifts the fatal blow with his sword, draw the decision to give freedom to the secret after showing courage. So the whole village held a party with super delicious grilled bear meat. In the middle of the ceremony, the lifting appeared again, this time in the costumes of the indigenous people. He was surprised when everyone welcomed him warmly like family. During dinner, the boy brought bread to the hidden secret, and when she decided to lend it to him, the sword was used to take down the bear on the condition that the boy say his name. The boy only replied, R. Draw explains that Eric was orphaned by his parents as a child and that they are taking care of him. Gunfire decided to play a game called Shield and Challenge. People form a square circle with shields, and opponents have to climb up and move forward. After a series of rounds, when he arrived, he found the bomber. But Goon Friend didn't mock him, but helped him to his feet. Now he has gained everyone's trust. After leaving the lobby, when she met Freya, she thanked him for helping her father on the expedition. When she should explain to Freya that it was not the bear that killed her villagers. It's the black one, and that it will come back at any time. Suddenly, Garner's group begins an attack on the village. A war between the two sides took place. Jin and Freya managed to take down a few of the Russian guys. Rusgard faces Garner. His wife was beaten and fell to the ground. Before using him, Kimnon appeared to save Doug K. But when Garner was about to attack again, his soldiers stopped him and dragged him away. Announced that he had to withdraw because he was on the underside. Garner's group left, not forgetting to curse Norska, accusing him of being a murderer, his family, and his people. The whole village went to search the surroundings. FR explains to King about Garner. Many 5 years ago, Gunfreak's father wanted to gather all the villages to plan an attack on the Franks. But Garner didn't show up, feeling this is a betrayal. Therefore, both villages have reason to hate each other. Garner's group plans further attacks on Goldrick and the villagers. One of them separated from the group to go to the bottom and was attacked by the Muin in the lake hiding. Garner's men fell one after another. Thought it was a surprise attack by a golfer. Near the place, he was left alone to face the monster that attacked him without fear. In the village, some of Garner's men appeared screaming and surrendering. Want to go inside, so you don't get late. However, the gunfire thought it was a trap, so he had the archers prepared to shoot. They kept running and calling for help. Archers shot down several people, except for Garner. When the background asked them to stop shooting, he then opens the gate for the enemy to enter. As the gunfire prepares to attack the Garner, people saw a series of blue lights grabbing a person in the forest and then devouring him. The blue light turns red. It turned out that I was quickly accustomed to hiding in the forest. Now, people believe in the existence of this creature. The tension between the gunfire and Garner in the lobby. Garner claims that hitting Muin is like taking an egg for a stone fight. When he stopped telling them, fighting the Muin in the open fields was impossible. So they had to come up with a trap. Goonfriend doesn't believe in the plan and says the king is not here, so they don't listen to him. However, when you should get angry and say that the gunfire is wrong, as well as the fact that he was wrong about Garner's alleged attacks. The two people fought again, but they were ignorant and stopped them. The patriarch supported the king's plan and said that what he proposed would be implemented. The next day, they decided to build a trap at the entrance to the village, when fracturing requires flammable materials. For some reason, they dug a hole a few meters deep, hide as if it were just a hut. Inside, there are many piles inserted into the soil filled with different oils. After everything is ready, Brodka suggested that he raise a position in the village, making a person. Meanwhile, the victims last night woke up among the corpses just to wait for their children to get used to eating meat. In Freya's hut, she and Kim don't have dinner together. At this time, he had something to confess. His people are actually the conquerors of the worlds. Upon arriving in Muin's territory, they destroy the species with bombs. The rest of the accustomed ones are hunted for control of the place. It turned out that Kim Non was part of a group of space colonists, and in exchange for being able to destroy the Muin, he and his family were given a place to live on the planet to reside. Sometime after the conquest, so he had to move to a new mission. But there, he found a surviving moose, and is hiding in the ship's ventilation system. It was that accustomed child who killed the rest of the population. When lifting, blame yourself for that omission. But Fryer says he shouldn't be himself. She gives him the family's sword to help fight the Morwell. Everyone prepares the trap with the help of the gunner. The warriors open the gate and Goon Friend and Kiana go out. Wait for the monster to appear. They see nothing, and when nothing happens, when tasting a torch into the forest, realize that familiarity is right in front of them. From somewhere, the priest of the village appeared. Pray for the monster to leave. Given that it is Lucifer's emissary, the priest was brutally killed on the spot. When the background and gunfire start running, overcome the water trap with the shield to jump to the other side. However, the gunfire slowly rose and fell into the water with the monster. To make matters worse, the fighters shut down, leaving both inside, before the archer shoots the rocket arrow. When lifting Goldrick by dragging him through the outside window, promptly save him from the explosion. When everyone is surprised, then a smaller one appeared from behind, in the area where women are hiding. In order to protect everyone, Freya decides to face it. Her father arrived just in time, but the difference between a human and a monster was too great. Suddenly, the other light Moray survived the explosion, becoming angrier than ever. Bullfrog and Golden attack together, but they are not its opponents. Near the place where he was going to help, but he was immediately blown away. Then the monster ran away. The boy appears and tells Kyle that there is another one, so they run to help Freya. Unfortunately, they discover Fryer holding the body of her father, who died in battle. The whole village left the next day. Fear of another attack. Eric wanted to stay with him in the village, but when he was told, the place was no longer safe. He had to go with others. He promised him that they would meet again and then said goodbye. When she met Gunfleck, she felt that she did not deserve a great responsibility. When don't say they have to take revenge on the monster. Together, they recruited a small group to go down to the area. Although this idea is crazy, it is the only way to find the Muin's lair. When the background requires a Bombi to create a new weapon, this time with more durable materials that he will carry. while lifting with FR and gunfire go to the Tiger, where his ship crashed to get some materials by diving down to find. While he brought up one thing at a time, when the background suddenly saw a familiar Tiger under the Tiger. When on the water, he saw that the boat had been destroyed. Only Goldrick was seen, but Fryer was nowhere to be seen. At this time, Baum is creating a new sword, bigger and stronger than any other sword. Get ready. While lying down the well until he found an underground cave. He waited for the others, and they began to advance. Freya woke up in fear. Find yourself in a monster's nest among the corpses. When she tried to run away, one of the monsters discovered. Before attacking, the monster spotted the intruders, so he ignored the Friar to go looking for it. The group of the last respondent enters a cave, with an entrance below is lava. Soon they were attacked, and the group split up to chase it down to find their nest. Seeing that the Black was still eating their comrades, they rushed to attack. And you can quickly eat small. Freya tries to get up and screams to call for help. Step into the dark. Freehand found the injured Maureen entering, but it couldn't see her, but only relied on sound to find her. When they see each other, Freya accidentally makes a sound, and she almost got caught when it rushed in. Freya had to go through the hole, but the loss was too small for her. There is no other choice. They gave the sword to Freya and then knocked it down immediately. Freya cried when she saw Kim-Hung again. All were horrified by the number of corpses in the cave. When you hear something approaching, they left, and I quickly got acquainted with my mother when I saw my child's body cry out loudly. They came to the end of a waterfall on the mountain, tried to escape, but the walls are too slippery to climb. However, they still tried to climb up, but Fryer fell down and Golden promptly grabbed her hand. Meanwhile, Gump's Rick is attacked by an older Maureen. In despair, he tried to injure it in the face. Fram is still holding on, but there's also the concept of gunfire towards the Guinea. Now only the Key and IS can fight. Kim don't go back to the cave to get his sword, and cut off one of the monster's tentacles. Although he did not directly attack it, follow the bloodstains. When he was lifted, he was almost attacked by the monster behind and stumbled. Freya appears to attack the monster, create the perfect opportunity for Kim-Hung to counterattack. Nevertheless, where did the monster drag him to the cliff, and Freya was able to hold him back. He was pulled by the Muin. After a struggle, when he took the sword, he cut off the monster's hand, causing it to fall to the ground. They returned to another golfer who was dying. He asked, which one is not? Let's deal with it. They replied that it was over. Gunfire was given his knitting needles and medals. It means that the unicorn will be the patriarch. Regret that the reception with the king was not good enough. When don't say we're good friends. And that's when Gunfire died. Skill and Freya climbed the cliff together, seeing the rest of the people on the boat in the distance. The two exchanged a kiss, but even so, Kim-Non said goodbye to Fryer, saying that he had other things to do. Free worries knowing that when lifting may never come back. He returned to his wreck. It was revealed that his wife had been frozen during the move. However, the accident caused her capsule to hit his wife, causing her death. When you say goodbye, go back to your computer, motioning for his teammates to look for him. Freya watched from the bushes and saw that the king was destroying the machine. Give up the only chance to return home. End of the movie. Freya recounts how the Gunfs and withdrawals were buried in the glory of the borrower. And when she used to be a stranger to everyone, now he became their new patriarch. With Freya becoming his wife and Eric being adopted,